Adamantium Shadow Poo!
Hello and welcome to the Bronze Age Monsters Shadow Show. This is a show we make for our lovely and loyal patrons. You're going to get this every other week. So you get the main show, then you get our show. So that means we are in your ears every single week of the year. So this is where your hard-earned patron money is going. And what we like to do on this, we are going through Bloodstone, Ulysses Bloodstone's appearances of the Bronze Age. Right now we're in the middle of the Rampaging Hulk run. And we also talk about movies. Matt does his Kickstarter catch-up. And I like Matt's musings. I hope that's going to come back. And and I do Tales from the Library. We talk about our lives. We talk about a bunch of different stuff. But you know that because you're watching this. And since we've had, I don't know, Matt, you were saying on the main show, we're almost at 100 bonus episodes. 100.
I think this is 99.
That is just okay. So next one's going to be 100. Well, we should do something.
Yeah, I'm going to take my shirt off.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, not for the patrons. We've done enough for them. Let's do something for ourselves.
Yeah, I'm taking my shirt off.
Take your shirt off. I'm going to snort some heroin. And it'll be good. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
Nudity and opiates.
Yes.
That's all anyone ever wants.
Yes.
So, sorry, you were going to say?
No.
Oh, so we're going to be talking about the Rampaging Hulk 3, which is continuing adventures of Ulysses Bloodstone. I liked last episode. I did like our reading of Samantha's files. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was fun to do.
Yeah, it was really fun to do. So yeah, I liked that. But now we're back to it. We're back to our full story in the Curtis Mags of Ulysses Bloodstone. So yeah, I don't know if you are okay with just jumping into that, Matt.
Did want to mention that if you are folks out there are enjoying Ulysses Bloodstone, there are currently 2 designs, both based on the same concept of art from the book, and they are Ulysses using his third eye power. I got mine today in the mail, so I'm showing it right here.
Oh,
yes. So there's his third eye glowing, and the sound
I love how
coming out
it
of
is
panel.
Giant. I love how giant
huge
it is
on the shirt. So I fucking love it. The second design is in this issue that we're talking about today. So if you like what I'm wearing here, or the one that you see in this thing, you can get it on a mug, shirt, sweatshirt, whatever you want. So Jacob's getting his in the mail probably in a few days. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And I see you're rocking a Man-Thing shirt.
Yep, got the Man-Thing shirt going on.
Frank Brunner pinup from one of the early, I think it was early Haunt of Horror pinup.
Yeah, I end up wearing this a lot. I wear all of our shirts. The only one that really gets comments is the Star God.
It's funny.
None of it. I don't know. It's not really
not the Man Wolf one, the Star God one that says
the Star God one that says Star God. Yeah.
What kind of comments does that?
Just like, whoa, that's cool. What is that? Yeah. And I've had someone like in a grocery line just be like, what is that? And I've nicely just been like, it's too much to explain. Just don't worry about it. Like we're in line at a grocery store. And we're not having a beer. So I'm just like, so I don't really say that. I'm like, it's just a cool shirt.
The Man Wolf shirt gets the same thing from me.
Oh, yeah.
People comment like, who is that?
Yeah.
And one time, I told you some guy that was like collecting beer cans or something downtown. He yelled, Man of War.
Yeah.
I looked him up. It's
so
actually
good.
A character. It's like one of the Shield Commando monsters or something. It's a thing, but he thought it was the wrong character. He was thinking of somebody else.
He wasn't like mistaking it for like the band, like a band T-shirt or something.
No. He's referencing a comic.
Okay, well, that's
a werewolf soldier type of character.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, but close enough.
Close enough. That's yeah.
All right, so if you forgot, Ulysses Bloodstone found out that Brad disappeared when he went to check out. When he followed Gorham into the ocean, and his tracker is gone offline, and Samantha Eden told him, or he knew from his files, that scientists have been disappearing, and he thinks this is all connected. And Samantha Eden said, talk to my friend Tony Stark. He knows all about this.
That is where we left off. So, and we open up First, we have story credits. We have John Warner story. Art is Sal Buscema and Rudy Nebris. And letters, Jim Novak. So, yeah, same. I don't know. It's been going. I think John was the first one. Sal was one. Who was the other?
Bob Brown, I think.
Bob Brown was the other penciler as well. So yeah, but like you and I have said, Matt, we're cycling through pencilers, but it's all about Rudy and the inks. Mm-hmm. So doesn't really matter. That's what I love about this. I'm like, who's penciling? Doesn't fucking matter.
Yep. I mean,
it's a weird thing to say.
There's a few Sal faces that poke out from our Son of Satan run that I see here and there on here, but just as often, or more often than not, it's definitely Rudy's show. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. So, all right, yeah, jumping into the Bloodstone issue, like Matt said, we left off with Samantha being like, my buddy Tony Stark. And so, yeah, it opens night. A chill breeze wafts across Long Island and whistles between the structures of this imposing installation. Stark Industries, Long Island! I like the exclamation point there.
I read it the same way. I read these out loud every time. I don't know why. I did the exact same thing. Long Island!
It's so
Homies.
Great. Oh, and isn't that... Can we drink for Venture Brothers references now, too?
I will happily do that.
Oh, man.
We're having a gin and tonic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having some blackberry wine that my friend Kyle made in COVID summer.
Yeah.
I'm drinking it chilled because it's a berry wine.
Sweet berry wine. Sweet berry wine.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll drink for Tim and Eric.
I'm drinking for Tim and Eric, too. So... Okay, but did you not just get kind of lonesome and homesick with this first panel of Bloodstone jumping across the buildings like he's fucking Jack Russell?
Yeah.
And what was it? The three werewolves, him and Lieutenant
Lou Hackett.
Lou Hackett. Yeah, him and Lou Hackett. Yeah.
My boys.
Yeah, they were your boys. Them just jumping over rooftops and so awesome. That made me really homesick for the first season.
Yeah, there's even like a crucible of molten steel, like just like in that fateful how Hackett met his end.
But yeah, we see Bloodstone just jumping from rooftop to rooftop. It's explaining, it's given the whole intro again. His name's Ulysses Bloodstone. He is a hunter, and this is his night. And so Ulysses is saying, Samantha says that Tony Stark spends a lot of his time here. There are too many places to look. If I could only find Iron Man. From what Samantha told me, Stark would probably be close by. Maybe if I see something through this skylight. So even Samantha doesn't know that Tony's Iron Man?
No. Nobody knew for a long time, right?
Oh, yeah. That's true. In world.
Yeah. Wasn't there stuff like, again, neither of us are big Iron Man fans, but there was stuff where like he would have like a robot that would show up at times next to him to allay suspicions, and then he hired Rhodey. So he's done things to cover his tracks, so it's not as silly as it seems like it is, but it's still pretty silly.
Still silly as hell.
Okay, so on the next page we get this really nice big huge panel here. He gets cut off by, you have to imagine that compressed robotic Stark filtered voice. I hope you've got a damn good explanation of what you're doing, mister, because Mr. Stark takes a pretty dim view of unannounced visitors. Skamash! That's big glass.
That is big
glass.
You
just got big glassed.
You just got big glassed.
So that's cool. He throws them in through the skylight. There's some workers in there. Cripes! Clear out! Evacuate this work level! And we get our title, And There Shall Come Death.
It's way more metal of a title than the story deserves.
Yeah, I know. Goddamn.
I was like, that's the story that is, And There Shall Come Death.
Although there is the death of an established character.
That is true.
In this storyline so far, so it earns it. But yeah, it did seem very like this week on Mannix.
Yeah.
And there shall come death. So yeah, they're squaring up here on the bottom. Iron Man, wait, I can explain. I bet you can't, but not with that pop gun. And he's like, wait, no, it was just a reflex. Sure, I understand. So's this. Pow! I love that reaction.
I know. He's just like, no.
Yeah, so another thing about Iron Man that I never got as a kid, and it's really on display here, is like, when he was originally made in the early 60s, he's like a tin can, right? With a mouth hole and eye holes. And as he goes on and gets these different Mark III, Mark VI, Mark 10, whatever, all these different suits, like they start showing his musculature, and then they start like, this dude's more fucking facially expressive than Mickey Mouse or like, you know what I mean? Daffy Duck. Like,
Yeah.
there's a point here where he looks worried through a mask. So
I mean, I know
weird.
they have to do that to convey like some kind of emotion.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. The muscles always bum me out.
The facial expressions always just are absurd to me. Like,
All of it is absurd.
right? Like I get like when it's Batman and it's like his eyes are just white. That's just cartooning simplicity, right? And when they go in really close, you can see his pupils and his irises and like. But like this is like you can't go
No,
through
no,
a metal mask.
You just can't.
He probably can through extremis. Like the modern versions of the suit are probably like, paper thin, blah, blah, blah. But this is supposed to be literally just an iron suit.
It's armor.
It's armor.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's, yeah. So I think the art's beautiful, but I just keep looking at his facial expressions and thinking it's bizarre.
Yeah. Good call though on that top little porthole of Ulysses. Yeah, that's Sal.
Yeah. See,
That's definitely Sal.
here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, next page. So, this, it's so funny, like the dialogue and the scripted action, it basically could be a Marvel team up issue.
Totally.
Where it's like, oh, we got to fight for the first 6 pages. And then, oh, we come to an understanding and shake hands. It's pretty simplistic and kind of dumb, but Rudy's art really elevates this.
Oh yeah.
It makes it really not just palatable, but really enjoyable for me. So yeah, they're just fighting with each other basically for this whole thing. Kind of dumb, but really looks cool, specifically Bloodstone. So him in that top panel with holding the gun, just being like, have it your way, Iron Man. It's like, he looks fucking rad. And that bottom panel, Jesus, where he's jumping towards us. But the dialogue is I swear to God, it's Marvel team up.
It's corn dog.
It is like Bloodstone's, I would have expected more grit out of you, Iron Man, but now maybe you'll listen after I put you in a more compromising position. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get why Warner is dumbing down. I don't understand it at all. I've tried to make sense of it. I've tried to just be, and we have too. We've talked it through multiple episodes since we moved to the black and white mags. No sense. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. And this is just continually when there was like a branching path for us, like it's like the choice we would not take is always the path Warner's taking here.
Yeah.
So pulling Stark into here and like, it's like we have a Luxel. Like, let's talk about a Luxel. Let's talk about timeless space entities and otherworldly denizens and creatures. Like, that's what he was excited about when he cooked this whole story up for Marvel Presents. So why is he leaning so heavily into this? It is a constant source of irritation. Maybe it'll make a pearl. Maybe it's like that grain of sand that gets into an oyster. I
don't know, but it's kind of bumming me out reading these a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, But I mean, thank God for Rudy.
My attitude is, it's easiest when we do like the Power Records reading thing. But if we're just doing this and we're showing the art, so anybody who's really invested in reading every panel by panel, we'll be showing these while we're talking, doing this kind of conversation here. So you can read it and ignore us while we're talking about stuff, and we'll just kind of blow through some of this when it's just not great writing, in our opinion.
Yeah, like this page.
Yeah. So like you were saying to your point, like that fourth panel of Iron Man, that's where he's furrowing his brow through an inch of metal and frowning through an inch of metal. But I love that you're saying like Marvel team. I'm like, that's it, Muscle Mouth. Come in just a bit closer. Like,
I know, Jesus.
That's team up shit, dude. But I do love that last panel, like you said, and like all the shading on that last panel too, just around on Iron Man's dome and in the behind Ulysses. Gorgeous.
So cool. Yeah, super cool.
So this battle continues on the next page. He lulls Ulysses to come in close and then blasts him. He's not down for the count yet, but his repulsor ray hits a crucible that has a bunch of molten steel in it. Or no, actually, sorry. His blast makes Ulysses fire his hand cannon, and it shoots that thing. And then a worker says, "Oh no! For Christ's sakes, run!" Like that was where I was like, so this is what you choose to do with an adult Curtis Magazine free hand to do mature stuff. You say Christ's sakes.
Christ's sakes.
Instead of having a mature, nuanced sci-fi action adventure story, like
it's weird.
So weird. So the crucible starts tipping over, and Iron Man sees that, and again, very fucking expressive in the middle of the page. It looks like Mickey Mouse. I go, oh, gee. So he's like, got to get everybody evacuated out of here because he's a good boss. He flies up, he grabs the crucible, and he realizes my jets can't manage this job. Like, so he's holding onto it, trying to hold this molten steel from tipping over onto all of his workers. And he's like, God, this thing's getting hot. Like, I'm starting to cook inside my iron. And he has to figure something out to do. But what unimpeachable art.
God damn. So good.
Like that first panel of Ulysses flying towards us, like he always looks amazing when he's like his gun, whatever the thing is, he stores his gun in. And I love the weird like arm sleeves with those things we talked about, the weapons. We get some cool new weapons in this issue. Like he always is outfitted with the coolest gear and looks amazing.
Yeah, he does. I mean, yeah, Rudy makes him just look incredible. But so, yeah, next page, I like that the narration's like, then, as if in answer to Shellhead's unspoken inquiry, he's like, hold on, Iron Man. He does his signature move of blowing himself, propelling himself in the air with his special weird elephant gun that he has.
What I don't understand why Warner lashed onto that. Like, it seems to me like a melange of like the goofiest of Silver and early Bronze Age. Like, you know who kids really like from Spider-Man? Kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be able to bounce around like Kangaroo. You know who else people love? Daredevil's Stiltman.
Yeah.
So
who doesn't
we kind of
love that?
mix him together and just make him have like these abilities.
God, it's
Such
so
a weird choice.
It's such a weird choice. And I mean, it's funny when, like we talked about last time, like Brotch first.
Yeah.
Like when we get that angle,
Yeah.
it's at least funny. But this one, you're just like, oh boy, this is kind of dumb. But yeah, so he shoots himself up towards the walkway to the Crucible. And I like that they, like in Team Up, there's something they actually need to team up against. Now they're friends. Like, how long can those boot jets maintain the weight? It's like another minute, I think. It's like, that'll be long enough. Stand by, Iron Man. When I say let go, do it. So yeah, they're teaming up. They're buddies now.
Bygones are bygones.
Yeah, they are. And so, yeah, there's just a bunch of goofy dialogue, and the Crucible holds.
Yep, it does. So, yeah. Again, I can look at this art all day long.
Yeah.
Story is pretty light. We cut to a commercial. There's some Ben Gay ads, whatever the hell they're ads, Alka-Seltzer, whatever they advertised in the mid-'70s. And then we cut back to Stark in his office, but it's not Stark, it's Iron Man. And they're chilling now. They've worked out their issues.
All right.
So he's like, hey, man, I'm listening. I was a bit jumpy. Sorry. Some scientific, big shot's been getting grabbed and Stark's on the list. So I'm a little on edge. And Ulysses explains that's why he's there. He's been putting a dossier together on the disappearances. And he was wondering if S.H.I.E.L.D. had information on this whole thing. And he mentions Samantha Eden. He says, she said you might be able to help. And he's like, Sam, huh? How's she these days?
That's how he's saying it.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I haven't time for it. I was like, oh, of course. Sorry. I'm working with S.H.I.E.L.D. We think we know who's involved. So he basically just lets slip like, I'm a playboy and I totally seduce Sam.
Yeah.
And I'm not Tony Stark, though.
I'm not Tony Stark at all. Never even heard of that guy. And
so, yeah, he goes on saying, we haven't figured out who. And then Ulysses is getting into his pack of stuff and all this crazy ammo that's psychically triggered. And he's like, where? That's my department. I'm a so-so detective, but I'm one hell of a hunter. And he pulls out new gear. So he's got this crazy new knife that looks like some Cult of Kalumai knife or something like that. And then he has these new gauntlets with stiletto type of knuckles on them.
Yeah, what?
He's like, explain that Brad, his aide, disappeared and his tracker sensors went offline. So something's up. And then he has a very pretty boy shot of him at the bottom. And he's like, the fact that I can't pick him up means he's sealed up somewhere and he can't be far from where his signal was last recorded. here's the file I brought. And so Iron Man's looking it over saying, I'm impressed. This is more than S.H.I.E.L.D. has. So now we get a little bit of dope, like, okay, he's not exactly Batman, but he's not so bad at collecting data.
No, he's not bad at all.
He's like, well, it looks like we're in this together. Let me tell you what I know of.
So what are you thinking? It's more pronounced, some issues more than others, but Ulysses' hair can get quite helmet-like.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a Sal thing. It's very like action figure sculpted hair here. Like,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be a Sal thing, and not like, I don't know why Rudy couldn't. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the sculpted plastic hair. I like his locks flowing free.
Yeah, I do too. This is not my favorite look for his hair, but I love the washes and the way that he inks it in the last panel.
Yeah, no, his hair looks great in the last panel. Yeah, I'm okay with it helmeted there because it looks so cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do love, look, pensive Iron Man reading over some dossiers.
Yeah, it's like an 8-bit Atari graphic of concern.
Yeah. Like the Moonanites or something, you know? Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So, next page. So, yeah, Iron Man was just like, let me tell you what I know of Centurious. And that's Brad, who's yelling that. And Centurious says, it would seem you are awake, Mr. Carter. Please forgive me your, well, unseemly accommodations. Brad's like, let me out of these Chinese handcuffs of yours and I'll show you. But yeah, Centurious just like, you must know that isn't possible. Frankly, you've caused me a great deal of inconvenience. And so then Brad's thinking, yeah, too bad. You've caused a good bit of grief in your day too. And then he goes back and he's going back to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Describing that whole thing, which we had talked about in our other gated content thing.
Yes, that's special.
And that is special. But basically saying that he was, he's the lead in a King Kong remake. He ran into some James Bond character. And the island we had chosen to film on was really Centurious Space. S.H.I.E.L.D. was having a little war, and we were caught in the middle of it. So so we know Brad Carter's here, and you were right, Centurious.
Yep. So if you are not a PAC member or a Star God, we did cover that issue of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #2. And it's full of gorgeous Jim Steranko art. We read through the whole story, had a great time with it. It was intended to be like a 15-minute recap, just covering PDQ, Werner, and Brad's introduction to the comics world. But we ended up just kind of doing the whole issue, and it was a good time. So this flashback kind of continues, and we explain that the last time we saw Centurious, he basically realized that his plan to he figured out how to force evolve life. Somebody pointed out, like, he's a lot like high evolutionary, which he kind of is. But he wanted to basically take an arc up into space and orbit and nuke the Earth and let it just settle and then bring down his new weird life forms that he made and properly populate the Earth again and give us another shot. And when that plan failed at the end of that issue, he jumped into his plasma-ator thing and just basically turned himself into protoplasm. And he's like, I'll come back, do it again. Yeah. And so, they thought he was dead or an amoeba, essentially. So he's saying, I can see you're puzzled. I don't have time nor inclination to detail my resurrection. Suffice it to say that I re-evolved into an infinitely superior being. So, stroke of the pen, he is back, and he's better than he was before.
Yeah, he was.
Dr. Noah Black is dead, but Centurious lives forever. And then we see what he's been doing with all the scientists, with the mental energies and knowledge of these world's greatest minds. There's a bunch of nude scientists in plasma tubes, like specimens, combined with the incalculable power of the single blood gem fragment captured by Gorham. And we see that he's taken the blood gem that Gorham got from Bloodstone in issue 1 of Rampaging Hulk and used it as a power source for a cannon. He says he shall soon have the world at his feet. So yes, he is a comic book villain.
Yeah, he is.
And he says, you are of little use to me once Bloodstone has been lured here. So he has a plan. Brad is bait.
Yeah, as far as like the recap panels, that one of him leaping into and turning into protoplasm is fucking cool.
I love that one.
It's great. Like, It's really, really great. This is an interesting thing. Like, I don't know if we probably have. I'm sure we've talked about so many comics, but this one in particular, it's such a weird. I don't think we've ever had a story this slight with art this good.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
It's bringing a laser gun to a knife fight.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. But, yeah, no, again, the art's, unimpeachable on this one. So, but next page says suddenly bree, and then all the alarms bip 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 bip. They're all going off. I love this, and ee. And then, but this made me laugh. It's like Centurious, like, spread out quickly. All the alarm systems are being set off at once. They'll overload.
He's a genius.
He made
a system that could overload.
Yeah, it's like, if all my alarms set off, we're fucked then. So I thought that was kind of funny. But, oh, man, we get a great reveal starting in that third panel where it says, but then from the center of the chamber, a brilliant glow radiates out, consuming everything. Centurious, who? With this shadowy figure says, you tamper with power you do not understand. And then we get the big reveal. I am a Luxol. Quan Te Sin, I am power and chaos and destiny. I am also the rightful possessor of the blood gems. He also is kind of like that pole vaulter in the last Olympics. That kind of just so like
brought down by my own dong.
Yeah, seriously, he's that's something there.
So there's some pretty amazing voice AI tech right now, right? It's just going to get better. Mm-hmm. I was really tempted to like go on and say, can I have James Earl Jones say all of his lines? Because it should be James Earl Jones.
Yes. No, it absolutely should.
Might play around with that.
He goes on and says, did you think I would not find you? It is not merely I you challenge, for behind me stands the conspiracy. Centurious is just laughing. Luxol says, why do you laugh, human? Centurious says, I laugh because I am not human, but I am part of the conspiracy.
Infighting.
I
Gotta
know.
love it.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm intrigued by the conspiracy. We were big fans of the committee back when that was introduced. In Werewolf by Night. Is that what they're called?
Yeah. No,
so
Jerry Conway.
I'm hoping this is as entertaining once it plays out, because it seemed like it's a thread that runs through this whole thing. All right, so then we hard cut, inside S.H.I.E.L.D.'s helicarrier headquarters, and there's Nick Fury. He's getting a message from Iron Man saying, hey, we're going in here, sending you the coordinates. Didn't have time to coordinate with you first. Bye. Sorry. Iron Man out.
See you later.
Fury's having one of his classic Fury, like, that dad-burned, Tim-plated, armor-skulled wahoo. Blasted superheroes think they can just go charging in anytime they... forget it. At least he gave us coordinates. Tell Eric to prepare his flyboys. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is on the way. However, taking up the rear. And then we get this cool, beautiful draftsmanship, at least, of Iron Man flying over this island in the middle of the sea. And it's saying basically like, it's a holographic projection. Anyone who's looking at it might just think it's a beautiful, idyllic, Pacific coastal paradise. But the special lenses in Iron Man's helmet filter out all these things, and he can see it for what it really is. And it is a hardcore super science base.
Yeah.
He says, some setup. I wonder if I can find out where he gets his subsidies from. Rich guy joke, industrialist joke.
Oof.
Relatable. And rippling muscles everywhere.
Rippling muscles. The whole suit's muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, boy. So, yeah, he comes in hot. Iron Man says, these must be the troops. We got to take them out first. Have to try to get to Centurious before he has time to counterattack. And, so Iron Man's just basically just destroying shit while he's saying kind of stupid stuff. He's like, it's as if they are totally unprepared for air attack, even though the holographic projection which hides this island is one of the most sophisticated I've ever seen. That's just plain stupid overconfidence. And then, I have to say my favorite panel is that one on the bottom left. It's so great.
Yeah.
Of all these, like the walrus guy from the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Totally.
Yeah. And they're all just shooting. I don't know. It looks great. It looks Flash Gordon to me. I think that's why That's why I liked it. It's just kind of just that whole, the angle and everything. But yeah, then Iron Man's like, uh-oh, speaking of overconfidence, looks like the cavalry just arrived. Theirs! And they mean business this time. So, yeah.
Yes. So big, frothy action.
Yep.
Beautiful art. I do like that last panel of Iron Man's swooping around, like following his flight trail. Just seeing
that's
how
cool.
agile he is. That's kind of cool. So yeah, he overestimated or underestimated these guys because he was just kind of coming in and just cutting them down, and then they swarm in on him, and he realizes, oh shit. He's like, well, they may be fast, but Iron Man is fat. Ugh! As he gets blasted, goes landing down. So much for that theory. Those beams have enough power to kick a small plane out of the sky, and then they just swarm on top of him. I love that panel where they're just like smothering him. He says, or, they're trying to hold me down with numbers or else trying to silence me to death, which I thought was a weird turn of phrase.
Very
silence me to death. And then he does like a typical Iron Man thing where he does like whatever the equivalent like a supernova type of thing is, blasts out. He goes up, I'm not about to give you guys a second chance. And then he's like, if this is the best Centurions can do, I'm beginning to wonder how he got such a rep. And then one of the little creatures goes up and pulls down a switch, click. And then a big bay door opens in the bottom panel, and our favorite creature and probably this whole run of this damn show comes out. It is a manta ray with bird claws, and it comes out towards Iron Man. He's like, uh-oh, I have the funny feeling I just got the answer to my question. You can say that again, but just not how that works.
No, it's not.
You tell someone they can say that again. You don't say it to yourself.
You don't say it to yourself. I know. I was just like, God damn.
He's like, where's my team up partner?
Yeah.
I need somebody to say this to.
Yeah.
But goddamn, that thing looks fucking amazing.
It looks so cool. I just want it to be in every issue now.
It's a spinoff book.
He does need a spinoff. We need to name him. Is he named yet?
No. But like, Lockjaw, or, they get like miniseries, all the pets, different Avengers pets and stuff like that. This guy should get his own. I want to know what his day-to-day is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. So yeah, next panel, next page. I like the narration here. It's like, while some moments before in the subterranean catacombs beneath Centurious base, small furry feet pad softly but swiftly through the darkness. They are responding to a high-frequency, nearly silent alarm. These creatures are not even mindful of the darkness their strange eyes compensate. Yeah, I do like the character design on these creatures.
I love
It's
them.
really cool. It's super cool.
These
And
would be great action figures.
They would be super great action figures. But oh man, this middle row of panels is so fucking cool. Because we see there's that one is just Ulysses looking through this little like this little, what is that? Like a little like break in the stone or something?
That's what I thought it was.
That's what I think it is, yeah. And so he's seeing that. It says, just ahead, a single figure waits hidden in a small unnoticed recess. He too is unimpaired by lack of light. His third eye power allows him to see objects and entities by their auras. And yeah, then we get the second design in our t-shirt shop. Thanks to you, Matt.
This is available if anybody wants this on a shirt or a mug.
God damn, I love the third eye pyramid. I love that it burns. I love that it has its own sound effect.
Yes, that's crackling.
Yeah, that is fucking cool.
Yeah,
like that is something that I love. And then, there's a great panel of action on the bottom where Ulysses says, if you're looking for the intruder who set off the alarms, you just found him.
Third eye still glowing.
Third eye still glowing.
I fucking love that. So this third eye design is very Sal forward compared to the one that I'm wearing here, which is
I think
this is John Buscema.
That's Buscema, John Buscema for sure. Now Sal is more the second one, which I think I gravitated towards the John, but the Sal's good too.
Yeah, I love this one too. I might end up getting something from it, but like you said, that middle row, and I love that he's like in hiding, but his gem is just glowing like so brightly red that it just he can't even be like camouflaged.
No, not in the slightest.
And then there's these weird ant, walrus, whatever the fuck these things are. I just love them. Like they're just so weird.
Yeah, they're really cool.
And that action panel at the bottom is great. So they pull their laser guns on him. He's like, oh, no, you don't. I may not be able to fire my rifle because the concussion would bury us, but I'm not going to be anyone's sitting duck. And he pulls out that weird knife we saw earlier. Tack, tack. And shook, shook. Blades shoot out. and bury themselves in the chests of two of those things. And then he says, as you can see, I've come quite prepared. Now take me to Brad Carter or I. And as he's saying that, somehow the small knife he had that shot multiple blades out, a giant sword blade comes out of it. Makes zero sense.
No, the physics don't work there.
Looks very cool though.
It's super cool.
So he's slashing at these things. Nothing. They don't talk. And I can't even tell if they hear. I don't know if they're sentient or mechanical, but I can't let myself worry about that now, as he's just slashing these things, just left and right, just falling, just like, like straw men. And then he hears, "Intruder will halt and desist termination of mutations." Who in? And he turns around and he sees some very classic, like, robots marching towards him. "You are summoned to the presence of Imperial Centurius. Surrender your weapons and come at once."
Yeah.
And on the ground in front of him are just a bunch of dead mutates with like blood pouring out of them. So at least there's that.
There is that. But yeah, when these guys came in, I kind of laugh groaned. And again, I'm just like, Dollar Tree Sentinels right there. That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Phantom Empire before too. Like there's definitely this like old serial robot, like cardboard,
right?
Type of thing. Right. So he's like, "Well, sorry, I wish to see Centurius, but on my terms, not his." So yeah, this is full on 30s serial.
It really is. Like, it's so, I mean, and you and I have not been shy about talking about our love for 30s serials and their ridiculousness. If anyone hasn't seen the Gene Autry sci-fi serial, I highly recommend it. It is hilarious and amazing. I'm sure it's all just on YouTube now.
Oh yeah, it's public domain now, so it's on archive.org if you want to download it. It's on YouTube. I'll cut into one big, huge, like 3.5 hour feature if you can sit through 3.5 hours of serial.
I don't know if I've sat through the entire thing.
I have.
Yeah, wow. Very
I watched
impressive.
that one, and there was one Bela Lugosi one that was also has a robot in it. I'm totally blanking on the name right now, but I've bought those like from like the dollar store or something like that, like in the early 2000s, and watched them all. Might need to do that this Halloween season.
That's not a bad idea. The last serial I really watched the whole thing of was the Captain Marvel one.
Oh my God, that one's so good. I love
it's probably the best one, even though it has a ridiculous villain. What is it, the Scorpion?
Yeah.
Or something. Like, it's so dumb. And it's not a Captain Marvel villain, but fuck, that's good. Like, it's really good. That is probably one of the best, old serials I've seen.
I think that's Republic, right?
Yeah.
That's super high quality. Like, every time, like, they reuse footage of him flying all the time. It's like a little figure. It looks amazing. Like,
it looks great.
I usually bitch when people recycle material every goddamn episode. I love it. I'm like, yes. Yeah. The Phantom Creeps is the one I was thinking of. The Bela Lugosi.
Okay, cool.
Robots. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Highly entertaining. Cardboard robot, Bela Lugosi, mad scientist, secret passages, all the stuff you want from a serial. Be a good start to like a Halloween season watch for people.
Yeah. Okay, so next page we get, so that first panel of him just holding his new action sword. And he says, "My terms allow for no compromise. When I finally reach Centurius, I've pulled his defenses down behind me."
Well, it's not just that he's holding the sword. He's got that new gauntlet, and it's crackling with electricity.
Yeah, you're right. And his third eye's still
going, too.
Still
glowing.
It's still glowing. I think it glows when he's mad now. He lets it out, but it stays going.
Yeah.
He's not seeing auras. He's just doing it to look like a badass.
Yeah, he's just being a badass.
Yeah. And so, he just, with that new gauntlet, this crackling energy, just blows through one of those robots. And then, of course, I mean, he's full of cool fucking moves on this page. Every panel is a cool move. He gets that sword ready. "Now stand out of my way because I'm going through." And he just fucking cuts through this, like bisects this robot. And and then also cuts the head off another one. So much for these. I like he cuts the head off of the robot and it's like squee. It's like it cries in pain. I love it when robots feel pain. It's great.
Why did you program me to feel pain?
Father. So, and then he's like, "I've done pretty well up till now." talking to himself again. I love he did a lot of badass moves. If I did all of those badass moves, I would pat myself on the back too.
Oh God, yes.
I wouldn't care. He says, last panel, I've been lucky so far. I've got to quit walking blindly where Centurius leads, using his choreography and take a more direct route. Then ka-chow. And yeah, he's just blowing through walls now. Yeah. Super badass.
I love that he was like, well, I don't want to use my gun because I don't want to bring these ton of walls down around us. And then he's just like punching, slashing everything, just destroying everything in his wake. All right, so on the next page, this guy is apparently a series regular. He's basically Norm on Cheers at this point. Gorham comes rising up looking as orgasmically gorgeous as he does every fucking time when Rudy draws him or inks him. Rises up out of the ocean. Puny Bloodstone returns again to fight Gorham. Bloodstone's got to be thinking, God damn, dude, I'm not that into you.
Please.
You think we're like, arches, we're not arch enemies here. You're nobody to me. Like, Gorham has been waiting. This time Gorham kills Bloodstone. And so Bloodstone's kind of prepared for this eventuality with his new gear. It's like, you fought me to a standstill once, monster, but this time I've prepared a special weapon for you. As he's slashing with his new sword, which seems to be crackling with energy as well. Rah! You hurt Gorham, but sword won't stop Gorham. And he's like, I wasn't talking about the sword. I was talking about this. And he grabs his new gauntlet and holds it like a gun. Shoots it at his head. And fires off all these little projectiles right into Gorham's forehead. I love that.
I love Gorham's face at the bottom. It's like, no!
Howling in pain.
Oh, yeah. Great page. The art on this page is so good.
This is like... Right? How is there not a figure of this? Like,
I don't.
Or the toy, right? Where you like squeeze something and little darts like shoot out of the knuckles. Yeah. So cool. Makes me feel like a kid.
Wow. All right, so it continues, and then he shot these little things. So is that what he's doing? He's shooting little like leads out to carry the electricity. I thought. I don't know. They don't look to be. I don't know, but anyhow,
I don't think they're physically connected, like wires.
No,
I think it's like his shotgun shells, where it's like it's all psychically linked or whatever.
Wills it, yeah.
But it's like I think it's just like showing that I don't know the connection.
But he says my power glove can transmit its full voltage through those wires directly into your brain, and not even you can withstand such a charge. And so he sends the charge going. Grah!
I love that. He's like.
Yeah, he is. He says, unfortunately, the glove has a limited power supply, and you have used it all, monster, but I will take no chances. This special clip allows me 5 rounds without reloading. I shall use them all. He's a toy commercial at this point.
Yes, I know.
He's like, well, okay, I'm out of power there, but I have a special clip you can put in, kids. And then I have 5 rounds without reloading.
Yeah. You can just see little kids like play acting, right? Like, oh no, I'm out of power.
Gorham's right there. What am I going to do? Yeah. And so he's like, I shall use them all to bury you. And then, so Gorham's just fucked. And then it switches. Tack says wall above. And then, we are seeing Iron Man going back and fighting against Centurius and his most badass pet of all time. Centurius says, fight on, you witless tin dolt. None may oppose Centurius for long. I have what I sought, the blood gem fragment, and none may defy its master. So I love that. All this is happening, and poor Luxel, he's just like, no, I'm the big bad. No one is paying attention to me.
I forgot he was there until you said that.
Everyone else forgot he was there too, and I'm just like, no, he's the coolest guy. He's the most impressive person in that room, and no one's paying attention to him.
He is the most impressive. However, there is a manta ray that is the size of the Empire State Building.
Person, let's say. Not amazing, fantastical beast that is going to be in my dreams for the rest of my life.
So did Ulysses, he didn't shoot 5 rounds at once, right? That's like a pow, 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 pow. Like he's doing them in quick succession.
Yes.
And he just brings down.
You can see it's kind of, the action.
Yeah, right. The movement of the gun barrel.
Yeah.
That's so badass.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that last panel, like you're right. I mean, like I get down there, I'm like, that's right, Luxel's still there. He's got to be like, like holding a skull, like Hamlet, like
Yeah.
getting ready to start a soliloquy. He's like, what the fuck? You guys, this is going to be awesome. Just everybody sit down and listen. I have something to say.
This is my big scene. You're ruining
I'm
it.
the big bad here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if nothing else, it's like an embarrassment of like riches of just like villainy and crazy action. Like it is like an end of a Mel Brooks movie or something like that. You know, it's like in the Blazing Saddles. We're just like, God damn, all these things are colliding now. It's crazy. And Brad's still tied up in the left of that panel too.
I know. God.
This has everything a serial needs. Okay, so Iron Man's been fighting, you know, like the most exciting part of this we haven't even seen, which is Iron Man's fight with this manta ray thing. Seems to be kind of holding its own against him. And then bracow! And a door or hole is blown open in the side of the thing. He's like, Centurious! Bloodstone jumps through the hole he just made. I want Brad Carter and the others you've captured. And I want you. And he regards who it is. It is his old foe, Aluxel. Why so surprised? I have come for the same gem piece as you, a gem piece that is rightfully mine, like the one in your chest should be. I love that kind of stakes kind of go up where it's like, oh shit, he does have a claim to that. He might want to take it back, which would kill our 10,000-year-old hero.
That's right.
Instantly, right? Meanwhile, Centurious is saying, you're a fool, Luxel. The gems all belong to the conspiracy. You have served the conspiracy, but you have failed. Your usefulness is ended. The conspiracy has chosen me to take your place. And he pushes a button on the control panel. His bloodstone cannon fires and zaps Aluxel. No! After executing you with the one power on Earth that can kill you, which was established back in Marvel Presents. Yep. That his one weakness was the blood gems. So he just got rocked by Centurious and a blood gem cannon.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for Aluxel. I'm just like, oh, he's getting forgotten. He's getting his ass kicked. He
didn't even finish checking into his room.
He didn't, and he's already having a
breakfast
really
is served until
he's dead. Oh, yeah, it goes on. So okay, this just cracked me up, you know. So yeah, I know it's but okay. So it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but also like if Alex Raymond drew the planes,
yeah, totally.
Like on the next page, where it's like in the air over the island fortress. And then, yeah, all these like badass, spacecraft kind of stuff flew in. Fury was right. There's a secret installation here. Look at the size of this place. Fury says, well, quit gawking and get ready because we're going to take her apart piece by piece. And so, yeah, cavalry's arrived. Iron Man is still fighting our favorite thing ever. And he's saying, I got a pin to the dome. If I can just create enough stress factor in one spot with my repulsor ray, I might snap its neck. And then, so he just went down. So, yeah, okay, so what happened there? So he does his thing.
I don't 100% understand those two panels.
I didn't understand it either. So, because it just looks like he shot him and then the monster just like fell down. And then Iron Man's like, well, I meant to do that all along.
Yeah. It's totally like,
it's like, well, I don't know what you did or what you meant to do, but that's okay.
All I know is Gamesh indicates glass, so I'm drinking.
Yeah, one more drink for Big Glass. Then Iron Man flies down. It's like, Bloodstone, where's Centurious? Bloodstone says, never mind him. Those jets up there are a S.H.I.E.L.D. air squadron. We've got to get the prisoners out of here.
That last panel is pretty amazing.
Oh, it's an awesome panel. Yeah.
Did that not make you think of Mr. Show Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Mustard mayonnaise.
Mustard mayonnaise. Mayo stirred. Yeah.
Mr. Show reference. Jacob.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so wrapping the story up here. The base is starting to fall in on itself. Things are burning, exploding. Wait, look, there goes Centurious now. I love he looks like a classic drawing of escaping, looking over his shoulder. Yes, and I'll be gone before he can stop me. As for this fortress, I no longer need it. Aluxel is dead, and I am part of the conspiracy. It is we who shape eternity. I love that they have like a catchphrase So he's pulling this like self-destruct switch, and although Dr. Noah Black feared death enough to discover immortality, Centurius has no such concerns. So he's going to an escape pod, essentially. You have not finished with Centurius. Whir, click. As the door closes behind him, then everything starts exploding. Readouts say this sector is all operations. Knock them out. So we go up in the air again while S.H.I.E.L.D. is just dashing around in their little airships, just blowing up things like the Death Star. The rest move in on the central dome. We're going in with the Vortex craft to pick up Bloodstone, Iron Man, and the rescued prisoners. So yeah, we're just kind of batting clean up here.
Pretty much. But you're right, Centurius, his exit is so funny because you're right. I mean, that is just like the can you be an artist escape pose. Then he's shaking his fist in the next one. He's so ridiculous, but I kind of love him now.
Yeah, I do too. And I really love that the conspiracy has a mission statement. It is we who shape eternity. It's like on LinkedIn, like, do you want to shape eternity? Because the conspiracy is hiring.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yeah, once you and I leaned into the serial aspect of this, I was like, okay, I'm in.
I'm more into it now.
Yeah.
Talking through it with you.
Yeah. So then, final page. Nick's like, Vortex beam is in position. Let's go. That says, dwarfed by the immensity of the island complex, troops of men seem as a swarm of insects as they drop down on Vortex beam glide. TM.
Question.
Okay.
So we've created a drink for tractor beams. This seems to be the reverse.
But
I'm
Vortex
still drinking
beam.
for it.
Yeah, I'm drinking for it. Hell yeah.
I love this like gratuitous science fiction that he just made up. Like, yeah, how about if we just have them go down a beam instead of get pulled up?
That's called a vortex beam. I came up with that. Yeah. That says, TM indeed. But these insects, possibly the best equipped and trained soldiers in the world, have a pretty mean bite. And so, as this vortex beam is sending him down, Bloodstone Centurius got away. Well, it says, never mind him. This island is ringed with warheads. She's going to blow. That's upping the stakes a little bit. I love it. Then, final panel, Bloodstone. Then get the prisoners and let's get the hell out of here. Again.
Double Lincoln.
And look at Iron Man. He's so scared.
Oh, my God.
You can see it all over his face.
Anymore. Now, there's new Vonnie's Mustard A&A's.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Mustard A&A's combines the spicy goodness of mustard with
I love that how fast and furious this got in the last few pages as things just start blowing up and collapsing. Like that next to the last panel, like that's Brad helping pull the scientists out of their tubes. Like so much is going on that you can't even keep like all the beats straight.
Yeah.
Right?
No, this is a very complicated playset. I still want it. I still want to play with it with my Ulysses Bloodstone action figure with real gauntlet firing power. But
I got the Centurius operations playset for Christmas. Nick Fury really wanted to blow that part up, so I asked him.
Well, okay, in our teaser it says, next issue, the effects of Eluxel's death, as well as, at long last, the conspiracy revealed and introducing Exomind and the mysterious Domino. So Eluxel's just dead? I guess we'll tune in and find out, but I thought that was funny. It's in the teaser. Yeah, Eluxel's dead. But guess who's coming?
So this can't be Domino like the X-Men character, right?
I don't think so, but
this
maybe,
just has to
who
be
knows?
a name somebody had to choose multiple times throughout comics history.
Probably.
So, folks, as we said before, we don't read ahead, so this is all new to us.
Yep.
You're saying, but Matt, how are you wearing this shirt? How did you make a design out of that panel from this issue? Because when I did make these PDFs for us to read, I did, see some panels. Some stuff jumped out. It's like, that's clearly a T-shirt. But that was the extent of it. I haven't read any of this stuff, so this is all new to me. I don't know who Domino is. We can just kind of seg into thoughts here. I mean, we were both pretty down in the mouth about this at the start, but just talking through it together, like it's hilarious. Like it's funnier when you can, enjoy it with somebody else.
It's always the case, both of us go into this kind of like lukewarm, a little tepid, and we're just like, fuck, all right. But then, we have so much fun talking about it. And by the end, and especially the action really did ramp up at the end here.
Yes.
And the whole serial ridiculousness of it, the comically old-fashioned robots, the weird insect men. It's, it checked a lot of boxes for me by the end.
Yeah, I think the things that were grown-worthy reading it separately in our heads become a lot more fun when you're saying them out loud and just like experiencing them together. Like, yeah, all the old. I mean, this is like this. This felt to me like a Dollar Tree version of like the end of a Bond film.
On
totally. First read through. But now that we're talking through it, it's again we're falling back. It's more like 30s, 40s serial stuff. Like. And I'm enjoying it more for that. I think that I don't think he's like Isabella level of like whatever, like old fashioned, old timey. I hate the modern times thing, but I think that he's leaning into this weird serial by way of Bond.
Yeah,
by way of Bond. Big endings like that, like when Spectre's getting raided by the UN and all that stuff happens, and secret bases on islands or in volcanoes are blowing up and all that shit. He's leaning into that, but I think that he's more informed by Phantom Creeps and Phantom Empire and old serials than anything else.
It seems it's definitely Flash Gordon. And I think people, I don't know if many people have gone down the serial rabbit hole that you and I have. So I'm curious, to what do you all think? What do the patrons think of this? Like, I don't know what people would think of these issues. I mean, maybe, because of the recommendations we're having, of the old serials to go back and even watch a half hour of one, watch an hour of one, that you'll get everything.
2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, that's all you need.
If you're not into after an episode or two, then it's not for you.
No, but yeah, Matt and I have a great love for this kind of thing, and we are leaning into that aspect of it to enjoy these kind of not exactly what we expected a Bloodstone black and white magazine story to be. It's not what I expected at all. It's actually what I hoped it wouldn't be. But, with Rudy's art, leaning into the serial ridiculousness of it. The Alex Raymond kind of like Flash Gordon aesthetic on a lot of these ships, even the Shield ships. I'm just like, everything looks like Futuro from the future kind of thing. And
this is 77. Like, this is like Shield is like bleeding edge technology. So the fact that they had those 1950s flyers is very weird.
It's so weird. But I mean, I'm loving it for all of us. And I know, I'm sure you probably have about the same, understanding of this issue and why you like it. I would assume so. But I'm curious what the patrons think. Let us know, send us a message on Patreon. I'm really curious what people think of these stories.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. We've heard some feedback. People seem to be digging it. I think our friend Jack Stevens said, like, in his opinion, the season got inverted. In his opinion, we should have done Bloodstone as the main and Creature Commandos as the bonus stuff. I don't know that I agree with that. For one thing, part of the reason I chose Creature Commandos was that it was readily available for people. So we didn't have to give away PDFs or anything to people, that the new animated series is coming, and that we knew that people would be able to buy it for not exorbitant amounts and follow along. Yeah. That's important to me as far as like programming the main show. So that's kind of why I chose this is a more obscure character. He's only referenced in flashback and stuff like that in the modern Marvel universe. And in my opinion, he's been retconned to be a terrible father. And I always want to dive into his Monster Hunter roots and give him kind of his due and just kind of say, we don't need to do the modern thing of shitting on old characters to make new storylines. Let's just celebrate him as a character and not make him an abusive father for Elsa. So, I'm enjoying this. This is complicated for me because Warner in that letter at the end of the Marvel Presents #2 said, like, I have this cosmic scope of stuff and these huge, stuff going on that he has planned, and we're not seeing that yet.
No, we're not.
And I'm even more perturbed by the fact that the one connective tissue, the thing that was the link to that storyline, just died. So
Yeah, I know.
that's
I was
weird.
I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what this means.
So yeah, I'm enjoying this. Like we said, I not as much fun to read on my own. Fun to read through with you though, and just reference old serials. So I'm excited to see what the reveal of the conspiracy. New character, Exomind coming in. Okay, Mysterious Domino. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm just adjusting my expectations because I was expecting this cosmic, epic scale story that Warner had planned, and I'm not seeing it so far.
Yeah, yeah, no, same here. But I am enjoying the ride, especially when we get to talk about it together.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, we love to hear your feedback on stuff in general. I forgot to mention that our friend Worm Drive Pro did chime in. We were talking about in the last episode that in Samanthine's notes, she was saying that Bloodstone Island seemed to be from the Gargoyles layer. And we were saying, I wonder if that's like tied into like the Rampaging Hulk like timeline and some type of like trying to continuity tie it to what's gone on in the previous issues. And he said that is exactly what it is. So confirmation from Worm Drive Pro. Thank you for being our resident Rampaging Hulk expert. I appreciate having a man in the trenches who can explain some of the weird stuff we don't understand because we're not reading the Hulk, the main story. So we don't know what's going on in the main book. So he's been helping us out with that stuff. Cool. So I'm excited to move on and see another story. I'm excited for not having Tony Stark in it. Yeah. We got the big island base stuff. We went back to Brad and PDQ's origins and saw that place again, and we have closure. I'm hoping that this is a wide open field. I'm really hoping that, honestly, that the conspiracy is Warner's version of the committee, which is the shadowy forces doing Illuminati type of stuff. Like that's like a way to pull it back into like a more Lovecraftian, cosmic, but earthbound and more celestial, or not celestial, but like terrestrial kind of like conspiracy. So like if we have people in the shadows pulling strings and making evil things happen, I'm more interested. If it's more rock'em sock'em robots and bases and things exploding, I'm going to have fun talking about it, but I'm going to be ultimately disappointed with where it's going as a narrative.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just that, I'm never going to read it again.
Yeah. I would look at the art again any day.
Yes, agreed.
But I don't know how much I would read the balloons. Because there's some pretty goofy balloons.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, folks. Well, as always, we welcome your feedback. And, Jake, I've been thinking about like what the Shadow Show will be when we move on to season 7. Like we've talked about doing like White Tiger or some other like the more grindhousey kind of elements, stuff from like Deadly Hands of Kung Fu or whatever. We've talked about Gabriel, the devil hunter, or whatever that character is from Haunt of Horror. And I'm wondering, like at this point, we're about halfway through the Ulysses Bloodstone Saga before his untimely death and like Rampaging Hulk 7, I think it is. So I don't know. Let's noodle on and decide on the next time I do this how we want to approach like stuff. But like I was thinking, maybe we could even do do the first White Tiger story. Maybe the arc or the first issue, and then do like a Gabriel, and then do and kind of bounce around and do some of these more obscure characters we want to do that we don't really have the runway to do the full treatment like we're doing the Bloodstone Saga, and maybe just kind of jump into them and kind of do like a little like this is the establishment of the character, this is their first appearance, and then move on to another thing that seems interesting to us. I
think that would be, I would lean towards doing that, almost like a sampler.
Yes, like a sampler.
Yeah.
Much like the Bronze Age buffet was, but like for like the Curtis magazines and some of the more obscure stuff.
Yeah, I would love that. I actually like just right off the bat, I would say I would agree to do that. But yeah, we can think about it and talk about it some more.
It just seems like, as we're winding the show down, like we've talked before about how like the Atlas Seaboard season is like a great encapsulation of what the show has been to us philosophically and artistically, like sharing this Bronze Age era stuff and all these different genres and all these creators we've met along the way, in this odd little publishing universe that happened for 2 years. A great way to end the show, in my opinion. And I think like this is another way of like, we can't do this forever, and we can't do everything exhaustively as I would like to do. So in my mind, it's easier to kind of pull back and just set up guards of like, we're just going to meet this character, move on, and just kind of treat it that way.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a great way moving forward for the Shadow Show.
Cool. So we'll, that also affords us the opportunity of something that we've never been able to do. Kind of what we've stopped from breaking the seal, which is, anthology books. I mean, you and I are huge fans of like House of Mystery and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. If we were doing a format like that, like we could do a Skywald story or a whatever, or, Eerie Publications, something, because it's just a one and done. We get in, we tell a story, we show some cool art, we talk about maybe the publisher a little bit, and then we just move on. And we talk about another book the next episode.
I would love that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I think it's, unless you wake up in the morning and say, Matt, I was talking crazy. I don't know what the hell I was saying on the Shadow Show last night. I think that's the plan. So let's just plan for that.
Okay, we'll plan for that. But yeah, let us know what you think. Anyone that wants to chime in on the direction for the Shadow Show, at least starting. So we're going to be talking about Bloodstone for the rest of the season, right?
Yes, this season is all Bloodstone.
The season's all Bloodstone. So when we go into the Atlas Seaboard season, we're going to need new material for the Shadow Show.
Yes. So we're going to be. I will start a Google Doc with you, and I'll start adding stuff in, and
cool.
Maybe you'll just do the same. So
yeah.
And one of the things also, I'll just mention this. I talked with you about it, so I can say it on the show. Another piece of gated content that's going to be for pack members and Star Gods is we're going to do like a review of a Skywald story. They had some serialized stories, not very often, but handfuls. Like the Human Gargoyles is probably the most famous one, most well-known one. But there was one where they took a swipe at Lovecraft mythos called the Shoggoths. And it's a 6-part story, so it appeared in like 6 magazines, probably about 10 pages each. And so we're not going to do like the blow by blow like we do on the main show or even on this show. It's going to be just like kind of like us doing a review of the entire 6 installment story, me showing the art and us just kind of talking through it. So like probably about 30, 40 minutes with a lot of art in the video. And if you just want to listen to it like a lot of people do, Skywald was published into public domain through error or sloppiness, whatever, but it was immediately public domain on the day it came out. So there will be PDFs available for people that want to read the Shoggoths, but I think we should do the Shoggoths. I think that's a good Lovecraft tie, 70s meets Lovecraft meets Skywald. Like it seemed like a good place for us. So we'll be doing that the next couple months, probably in the fall.
Cool. Yeah, sounds great to me.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, I'm excited for the next chapter of this book. I'm hoping that we get some more cosmic horror and some more epic scale. I'm wondering if John Warner meant big James Bond boss battle and villain bases. Is that what he meant by epic scale? That's not what I thought of.
No, that's not what I consider epic scale.
Okay,
it's playset scale.
Yeah, I thought like he meant like Man Wolf into Star God.
Yeah, exactly. That's always what we want, but.
Yeah. Okay, for our movie this week, we watched a Shreve movie, which to me in this season of pairing movies with issues, Shreve is either a straight World War II horror film or a wildcard psychotronic just weirdo movie. So so I chose Frankenstein's Army from 2013, which was directed by Richard Rapphorst. And this is a movie that I had seen like the art for, like when it first came out. I think I'd seen it on some streaming services or whatever. And to be honest, just kind of saw the cover art and was just like, probably not for me. And clicked past it. And then I saw a review of it. It was mentioned in a YouTube channel I like called Ghost Pirate Entertainment. He reviews horror stuff, and he's I really just click with his vibe and the way he reviews stuff, and he meets each film on its own terms and reviews them kind of even-handedly. And he said, this is like a kind of a hidden gem. Like I'm not gonna say it's the best film ever, but it's like it's found footage. Which, if you like found footage, that's a bonus, which I do. And it's one of those films where like if you make it through the first 20 to 25 minutes and just kind of let it kind of steep and become its thing, it goes nuts, and it just kind of stays nuts for the rest of the runtime, and it's worth a watch. So I was like, oh shit, okay, I wrote this movie off 10 years ago. Now I'm going to watch it. And Yeah, so we watched it, and it was cool. Our friend Josh Link, who is a pack member, he hopped on and said, I can join you guys this week, and I've actually interviewed the director for Freaking Blog thing. So he has personal experience with talking to Richard Rapphorse, so that was cool having him like on hand. I could literally say like, so where was this filmed, and like how did they make these? How do they do these effects? And like he had insight to all the stuff, so that was super cool. So
it was great. I loved that.
Let's just establish things here. So I'm a huge horror fan. I love film as an art form, obviously, but like horror is one of my favorite genres. And found footage to me is like the redheaded stepchild of horror films because of media. Because, with the Blair Witch becoming such a huge breakout hit, they made it for like $10,000. It pulled in how many tens of millions of dollars. Imitators inevitably spun out, and there was these people saying, "Hey, you can make a movie for zero budget and just make a bunch of money off of it." And so I think people have an association with found footage as being cheap and kind of poorly made. And I agree that I'd say 98% of found footage horror films are garbage. Yeah. However, I think that it's a very valuable art form, narrative form. And to me, it's much like reading classic like Poe or Lovecraft, where it's like I was House in the Borderland. Like I was hiking in the country and I found this dilapidated house, these ruins of a house, and I found an old journal under the bricks. And I started reading this journal, and you're reading the journal with them, and you're experiencing the thing this narrator's reading, this horrifying story that happened to this person. I think that's super powerful. That kind of epistolary kind of like found letters, found documents. So when it's done well and creatively with a brain and a heart and some good ad-libbing actors, I think it's some of the most effective horror around. And if anybody disagrees, I'd be happy to give you a handful of recommendations of like, these are my top 5, top 10 found footage horror films that will change your mind on the genre. But what is your relationship with found footage?
I like it. I mean, I haven't watched a ton of them, but as far as a narrative structure, I really like it. I mean, what do you think? Just give me your top 3.
There's one that has 2 names. It's called either Final Prayer or The Borderlands. So I think it's from Ireland or England. Probably about 10 years old. That one's amazing. The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Okay, I've seen that.
Mind-blowingly good in my opinion.
It's really, really good.
There's a Spanish film. Do not watch the American version. There's a Spanish film called Rec, like Record, that is first person, like head mounted, going into an infested apartment in like Madrid.
Wow.
Of like fast zombies. Fucking horrifying. So like those 3 out of the gate, I would say watch those ones and have your mind blown. And they don't all have to be like the found footage in the sense of like I'm recording something. They can be, in my opinion, like documentary, like mock documentary or whatever. So there's an Australian or New Zealand one called like Lake Mungo. That's kind of this like it's in the format of a TV documentary about a daughter who died, and it's just kind of this nuanced, beautiful film that unfolds and is heartbreaking and unsettling and creepy at the same time. So I can go on all day. So start there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the big ones as well, even though I did love the Taking of Deborah Logan. But, I'm familiar with the big ones, Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity, that whole series, which is, I don't know. The first one's all right. But then they made like 5 other ones that are awful.
Well, there's more than that.
Yeah.
There's spinoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm genetically predisposed to like this format.
I am too. I mean, I like found footage. I don't think it's as tired as fake documentary. I like found footage, and I think there has to be. I mean, it's its own art form that I think is. I think people think it. When I watched this film, I was just like, oh, people think that found footage is easy. I was just like, this is not easy. This is an art. Like what they are doing, like the segues between film reels. Like what you were talking about when we watched it, just how, like the guy throwing his hat toward the lens, and then that's the end of the reel, and just stuff like that. There's cool shit. Yeah. Like I felt that as far as like, a found footage film, this was pretty elevated, I thought.
Yeah. And like I was mentioning in the watch along, like, this is supposed to be Russian soldiers going into Nazi occupied territory looking for a target to find and bring back to Mother Russia. And, they did some amazing stuff. Like, and it's all about the craft. Like, this is like literally 4 people, seemingly, one man being the cameraman, the field, guy recording this stuff for a record to bring back to his commander, commanding officers. But like, they had like sound effects, just camera movement to indicate like explosions, this small gunfire thing, and it's all just 3 people pretending, like just rolling around in the snow a little bit. Like, it's really well handled and approached to where things kind of felt like they had weight and felt kind of real to me, and whatever. And some people in the watch along were kind of saying like, well, this would be black and white in 1944. It would.
Yeah, it totally would.
It would also have a bunch more noise. It would also be probably not have audio.
You definitely wouldn't have audio. So
unless you had a sound man coming along.
Yeah, I don't. That stuff doesn't. I don't care about that stuff. I just enjoyed the ride.
I like the light bleed that came like on the natural cuts, like you were saying, and just kind of stuff like that. And I like when they lean into. I really don't like in found footage horror, like when it establishes it and it seems like it's really set in that world and it's the person, and then it just kind of lets go of the trading wheels, and it's just kind of like, oh, you're going on your own now. Now it's just a film. Like, there's music cues and there's whatever, and like we just kind of set this up as an idea and then move on to a normal film format. This was hard baked into it.
It was. And
anytime where I kind of think like, oh, they're kind of drifting away from the format a little bit, like a character would turn look at the camera and like say something to the cameraman, like, you piece of shit, blah blah, like it would anchor it back into that world. Mm-hmm. So, as far as the film goes, once it does get going properly as a horror film, it goes bananas.
It's completely bananas. I'd never seen anything that was so over the top. Like, I just couldn't believe what was happening. I had such a blast watching it, especially with all of our folks on the watch along. I was just like, I've never seen anything like this. Yeah.
So the premise here is essentially that these Russian soldiers are going in to find this scientist who has been doing work with dead or dying soldiers to make new weapons. And so if you can imagine any version of like hardware introduced into a human organism, like a cyborg or whatever, that could be a weapon of war, you're going to see this in here. So to me, a touchstone is definitely the Reanimator films, as far as like the kind of Herbert West, like just playing with the dead, a lot of blood, a lot of spare body parts. This is a descendant of Victor von Frankenstein, so he's carrying on that work, and he's doing it for the Nazis. But he's not a Nazi. He's just a scientist who has an opportunity to do the work. So you're going to see every iteration of man meets machine meets. Someone mentioned Tetsuo, the Iron Man.
Yeah, that's definitely in there, especially with that first creature. The first creature you're introduced to, I mean, everyone was just like, oh my God. Like, I think that was and there's lots of body horror. I mean, the entire thing is body horror.
Yeah.
So, it was very, the creature design was so inventive and so cool. And like, I mean, this is a handmade film, but this was not a low budget film. It couldn't have been.
No.
I mean, there's so much work that went into this, and the cinematography was so great. And we watched the credits. There's like 150 people in the credits. Like, this isn't a tiny film.
Yeah. No, it was lovingly made.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And a lot of practical effects. They referenced, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, like they referenced The Thing, Rob Bottin's creature work in The Thing as like a inspiration. I mean, people reference stuff like it feels like Silent Hill or like a Resident Evil video game type of, or it felt like a Halloween haunt. Like, it feels like it's an assault.
Both of those things. Yeah, it is an assault
in the best possible way. Like, it is a nightmare, and you just keep going deeper into it, and it just gets more perverse and more profane. It's not transgressive or anything like that.
I don't think so.
I'd be surprised if it was banned anywhere or anything like that. But it definitely feels bloody, gory in that sense of like Reanimator, where it's just like this guy views like humans and human body parts and organs as tools. Yeah. And he wants to make the perfect thing. And the perfect thing he's making is a killing machine. Yeah. So Imagine that. And it's bloody, gory fun. And I had a great time with it.
I had a great time with it too. I mean, if we're going straight to the ratings, claw up for me. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I thought this was an incredible movie. I'm so glad that we watched it. I never would have. And I was so impressed with every part of this movie. It was so funny. Our watch along was so silent, and that only happens when we're watching an actually good film.
Yeah, totally. I know.
Every time, to where it's just because everyone was just, I mean, my face, I just couldn't believe what was happening. And I looked down at everybody else, and everybody else is just like, oh, like it was great.
I love when that happens. I mean, that's not what we're like. It's not what we're going for, but I think that, ultimately what we're going for is sharing a cinematic experience. Yep. If it's a terrible movie and we're all having a laugh, that's great. But if it's something gripping and engaging, then we're all sharing that together too. So that's cool. So
no, it was great. It was really fun. I'm so glad we watched it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so our next film. So we had Josh I rolled a die for Josh. He picked Odd or Even for Medusa or Lucky, and we got a Medusa movie. And this is kind of a adjacent to a Medusa Gorgon movie. So we're probably going to end up watching the Hammer film with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee called The Gorgon from 1964. That's a classy horror film, with high production values. We'll watch that. We need something a little trashier after this, because this was also well made. So we're doing a film from the Philippines called Zuma from 1985. And this is a character that was introduced in another Filipino comic book, but he's kind of like an anti-hero / villain. He appeared in an anthology book for a long time. Then he got his own book in the 80s. He's called Zuma, and he is a descendant, I believe, of Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl. I forgot who he's somehow Aztec related, which is, kind of a weird Philippines by way of Spain, by way of, I guess, Central America. But yeah, so he is green. He's bald, and he has a giant snake, two-headed snake, that is attached to his back. And weird stuff happens. I don't know. It looks absolutely insane. So we're going to watch that with subtitles and check it out.
That sounds great. I'm excited too.
Yeah. So we love Filipino comics, I love checking out the art. I did look up some of the issues of this character, and the art's gorgeous, and it's weird and insane. I didn't pull up the translator to figure out what the Tagalog is actually saying in English. I don't care. I just like to look at the weird art. But I'm excited to see this with subtitles and see what the hell goes on in 1985 comics Filipino world.
Yeah, that sounds super cool. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to check out Frankenstein's Army. Sorry. That's on Tubi, I believe. It's free to stream with commercials on several platforms. So you can watch it for free. Halloween's coming up. I highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would absolutely recommend this.
It's a good time. Unless you have an aversion to seeing intestines outside of the body. That might be like a problem. But, I'm not a gorehound. You're not a gorehound. We both did fine. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. I might share a story later, but we went a little long. So
sure.
We'll wrap it here.
No, sounds good. No, this was a really fun bonus show. I'm liking how the Bloodstone Saga is unfolding, and it's so nice to do watch-alongs again. It really is. So good to see everybody. We're having a lot of people show up. Yeah, Josh Link was so great watching this last one. Yeah, it was like having a little historian that was on mute. Then we're like, Josh, what about this? And he's like, unmute. Well, okay, this is what's going on here.
This is interesting.
I was like, this is amazing. I love this. So yeah, no, that was really fun. But yeah, great bonus show as always. And my little lady Sweet Pea's over there. I can't grab her and force her on camera, but so to you, Sweet Pea, we're gonna say Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. That's the Shadow Show.
That is the Shadow Show.
They even updated the ending.
Yeah.
Let's get the hell out of here!